Darren Till beats Kelvin Gastelum by split decision. This is the battle camp. Please hit the subscribe button. You'll find it in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. So since this fight's happened, I've seen Dana White in a couple of interviews and his post-fight press conference, and he didn't seem very happy with this fight. And I get the feeling he didn't find it very entertaining or exciting. And on this occasion, like other occasions, I think he's wrong. I really enjoyed the fight. I found it so kind of nicely poised, because you could see Darren Till implementing a strategy, a game plan, and trying to make it work. But you could see Kelvin Gastelum getting to Darren Till, and you could see occasions where he nearly clipped Darren Till and he nearly ended the night for Darren Till. I felt like Darren Till pretty much won every single round. I didn't like score the fight. I didn't write this down. But I looking back on the fight, and again, I haven't rewatched it, and I haven't slept either since the fight happened. But I'm certain during the fight, I felt like Darren Till won every single round. That might have a lot to do with the fact that I wanted Darren Till to win, being a fellow Englishman. However, I don't think I was, my kind of fanboyness made me misjudge this fight too much. I could see when Kelvin Gastelum was doing positive things. It's just Darren Till done way more positive things during the fight. So the fight itself, Darren Till, obviously, he used those leg kicks to his advantage. You could tell they were hurting Kelvin Gastelum because he kept picking his leg up, and he even switched stance a couple of times towards the end of the fight. But Darren Till was using those leg kicks to set up his punches, and then he was kind of peppering Kelvin Gastelum with shots and then spinning out. So he wasn't there for a counter. And that's pretty much how the entire fight went for me. One thing that I was really impressed with Darren Till is obviously he's moved up a weight class, and Kelvin Gastelum is a small middleweight. But when they were grappling, I felt like Darren Till was the stronger man. And I think the second and third round is when Kelvin Gastelum managed to get some takedowns, and Darren Till just got up straight away. Like there was no kind of hanging around. Now, I do know that Dominic Cruz mentioned in the commentary that Gastelum suffers from the fact that he is able to take people down, but he struggles to keep them down. So maybe that's something that I just wasn't aware of. That's, you know, obviously I'm not an expert the same way Dominic Cruz is, but maybe that's something that Kelvin Gastelum needs to work on. But the fight itself, I found it really interesting. Obviously, there was no big knockdown. There was no big crazy moments where someone was nearly finished. But I just enjoyed the kind of both of these guys trying to impose their technical strengths on each other. And on this occasion, Darren Till won. And just a special shout out to fucking Darren Till, because the guy apparently had visa problems. He only flew in a day before weigh-ins. He's like the situations, the circumstances in which this fight happened. He was just, it wasn't the greatest way to go into a fight like this. And this fight was kind of, this fight was a crossroads fight for Darren Till, because he's in a position where he's lost his previous two, he's moved up a weight class, and I like I said before, I rate the man. I rate the fact that he had the balls to come in here and fight Kelvin Gastelum in his first fight as a middleweight. And I made a video about this when the fight was announced, and I said this is a massive risk. This is a massive risk, and I don't know why they're taking it. And it turns out that it was actually a calculated risk, because they took the fight, they put together a game plan. So Darren Till and his team, they put together a game plan that Darren Till was able to implement, and they got the win, and deservedly so. The scorecards, split decision. That fight in no way, shape or form should have been a split decision. And the fact that one of the judges gave all 3 rounds to Kelvin Gastelum, I honestly, I can't get my head around it. It literally makes 0 sense. I don't know what he was watching. I don't know how much he knows about MMA, but fuck me, that was just wrong. That was just wrong. I can. Even if it was like he scored it 2-1 to Gastelum, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, how has he come to that conclusion? That makes 0 sense. The fact that he gave all 3 to Gastelum, someone needs to have a word with him. He needs to be held accountable for how shit he was at scoring this fight. I watched Darren Till's post-fight press conference as well, And I just want to say, man, like the things that he said up there and how he kind of addressed the fact that he was scared. He was considering pulling out the fight while he was in the back, getting ready to walk out. Like, all of these things were going around in his head. And I can imagine, well, I can't imagine, but I can see what he's saying and where he's coming from, just because of the time he's had, you know, over this year, basically losing to Woodley and then losing to Masvidal, and then coming back in on this stage in the co-main event against a monster like Kelvin Gastelum, man. And literally hats off to Darren Till. I picked against him in my preview video, because I just felt like he was just biting off more than he can chew, just by the fact that he's coming off of 2 losses, he's moving up a weight class, and all of that stuff all around it. And obviously, when I made the preview video, I didn't know about this visa problem that he had and the fact that he came in so late, how this fight week transpired. And I thought, fuck me, man, he's literally got no chance here. Like, can't this guy catch a break? But clearly, like, you know, he delivered. He delivered. And one of the things that I said in my preview video was, I'm not sure Darren Till is actually as good as what we thought he was, because he got all of this hype off the back of beating Donald Cerrone. And then obviously he beat Wonderboy as well after that, and that was the hype train that he was on. But now I can openly say I'm glad I was wrong, because it's a fact, man. It's a fact. His takedown defense today, like, he showed elements of his game that, I'm not saying that he hasn't shown them before, because I haven't, you know, I can't remember every single fucking Darren Till fight, but I was unaware of them. And if I had seen him before, I'd forgotten about it, because he's a mixed martial artist. He's not just a stand-up fighter, man. And he's up there. Like, he's beaten a top 5 middleweight convincingly. So, you know, I wonder what's next for Darren Till. I hope he doesn't go straight into the Israel Adesanya fight. I'd like to see him fight once or twice against other people in that division, and then you know, if he deserves a title shot, then I'm sure it will come. I just don't want to be in a position similar to like when he fought Woodley. Like, if he fights Adesanya and he loses, then he's kind of in no man's land again in the middleweight division. I think he should take his time, and I think he should build himself up. He was talking about how he was suffering from a lack of confidence in the post-fight press conference, and you know, he's got his mojo back, essentially. Let's not get too overconfident. Let's just kind of be kind of more calculated this time around. And I hope he kind of, you know, I'm not saying picks fights that he can win, but let's just focus on improving as a fighter. Let's just focus on becoming an actual kind of, let's just focus on being a middleweight, if that makes sense, and fighting different people in the division. And I'm sure his talents will carry him through, and he can beat top 10 opponents, and he'll come to a position where he warrants a title shot against Adesanya, and at the same time he will have improved as a fighter. That's my thoughts on Darren Till. With Kelvin Gastelum, I was a bit disappointed with Kelvin Gastelum, man. I mean, I appreciate those leg kicks were hurting, and I appreciate that Darren Till is a skilled stand-up fighter. But I just think that Kelvin Gastelum, like, after the second round, I can't see how he didn't know that he was losing that fight, for me anyway. And even if he thought it was 1-1 after that second round, I felt like Darren Till was controlling that fight, and I felt like Kelvin Gastelum didn't throw caution to the wind, and I thought he would have, and I felt like he had it in him. But he was just kind of one-paced, and maybe that was the impact of the leg kicks which stopped him from being explosive, and that's what he was against Adesanya, and that's how he managed to hurt and rock Adesanya. And maybe Darren Till took that away from him. Who knows? You know, who am I to judge? I'm not judging him. I'm just saying I felt like Kelvin Gastelum's a better fighter than he showed tonight. And I know he'll be disappointed in himself, and I don't know, man. I just felt like Kelvin Gastelum didn't really do himself justice as a fighter, because I feel like I said, I feel like he's a better fighter than he showed tonight. But yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed the fight. Let me know what you guys think. What do you make of the scorecards? What do you make of, how did you have this fight? Do you think Till was a clear winner, like I thought? Or do you feel like this judge who scored it 30-27 to Gastelum was right and I'm wrong? Put your comments below. Don't be scared to hit the like button. If you've enjoyed this video, share it with a friend. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. I'll catch you guys on the next one.